So, something happened recently that no son should ever have to deal with. A fake HOA crew tried to intimidate my 93-year-old mother, and when I stepped in, they tried to seize her ranch. All because I told them they picked the wrong family to mess with. But the only thing that got messed up was their crew. Let me start from the very beginning, before we dive in. Comment which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story travels. I've been shot at in 5 countries, but nothing raises my blood pressure like someone targeting my family. My mom, Evelyn Hart, has lived on our Texas ranch for over 60 years. The land is fully paid for, taxes up to date, and there's no legitimate HOA anywhere near us. But that didn't stop 3 guys in polo shirts with HOA enforcement stenciled on the back from marching up our driveway with clipboards like they owned the place. Their official complaint? They said my mom's flower beds violated community uniformity standards and her barn obstructed HOA view corridors. Translation: complete nonsense. No law backs it up. In fact, under Texas property code, no HOA has jurisdiction without a signed agreement. And trespassing on private land is a criminal offense. When I told them to leave, one of them, a stocky guy with wraparound shades, smirked and said, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way, bro." That was the moment my instincts flipped from polite to protective. Years as a Navy SEAL had taught me how to de-escalate, but also how to end a threat if needed. I stepped forward, keeping my voice calm but firm. The hard way, you're standing in it. They made the mistake of moving toward my mom. And that's when I moved first. The first guy lunged toward my mom like he was going to push past me. Bad choice. I caught his wrist, twisted, and used his own momentum to send him face first into the gravel. The second one, taller and wiry, tried to grab my shoulder from behind. I pivoted, swept his legs, and he hit the dirt with a thud that knocked the clipboard right out of his hands. The third one froze for a split second, then reached inside his polo like he was going for something. I closed the gap, hooked his arm, and pinned him against the barn wall before he could pull out the cheap folding knife he had hidden. "Let me guess," I said, holding him in place. "You're not here for flowers or barns, so why are you really here?" He spat out. "Your mom's sitting on prime development land. My boss wants it, and he doesn't take no for an answer." That was all I needed to hear. This wasn't some random nuisance. This was a targeted shakedown. They were pretending to be an HOA, to scare my mom into giving up her property. That's extortion under Texas Penal Code. And combined with trespassing, it could carry serious prison time. I zip-tied their wrists with the plastic ties I keep in my truck, sat them in the shade of the barn, and called the sheriff. While we waited, I went inside to check on Mom. She was sitting at the kitchen table, sipping her tea like nothing happened. "They came for the wrong ranch, didn't they?" she said with a little grin. The sheriff arrived 15 minutes later, and once he saw my body cam footage, he didn't waste time. "These men aren't on any HOA registry. They're part of a private enforcement company tied to a developer. We've been building a case." They were loaded into patrol cars, but I knew this wasn't over. If their boss wanted my mom's land bad enough to send muscle, he'd try again, and I was ready for round 2. 2 days later, I spotted a brand new black Escalade crawling up the gravel drive. It's the kind of car that doesn't belong in the middle of ranch country unless it's bringing trouble. I stepped off the porch, boots crunching, and stood between it and my mom's front door. The driver's door opened and out stepped a man in a tailored navy suit, gold cufflinks flashing in the sunlight. He was flanked by 2 more security guys, bigger than the first crew and carrying themselves like they'd done this before. "Mr. Kane," the man said smoothly, "I understand there's been a misunderstanding. I'm willing to make this go away if your mother is reasonable." I kept my eyes on him, my voice calm. "And by reasonable, you mean signing over her deed for pennies?" He smiled without warmth. "We both know this land is wasted on cattle and barns. My investors want to develop. You can either take my offer now or deal with my men." His mistake was thinking I'd hesitate. The first one stepped forward, and I closed the gap. Open palm to the chest, driving him back into the Escalade hard enough to rattle its suspension. The second reached for me, but I hooked his arm, spun him, and dropped him to the dirt. The boss took a half step back, suddenly not so smooth. "You think you can stop progress?" he barked. I pulled my phone from my pocket and tapped the sheriff's number. I already have. You sent men to threaten my mom? I've got every second on camera. Add attempted coercion, criminal trespass, and conspiracy to your list. Oh, and by the way, I'm a Navy SEAL. You won't win the physical fight either. The sheriff's cruiser rolled up just as the boss tried to get back in his car. He didn't. Make it cuffs, clicked, doors slammed, and the Escalade was towed from our driveway. Mom stepped onto the porch, her tea steaming in the morning sun. Well, she said, guess we're not selling. I smiled. No, Mom, we're not selling. We're making sure no one ever tries this again, because if they did, I'd be waiting. The end.